The Alliance thought humans were weak. Their first strike was their last. Commander Zex-Vorn stared through the crystalline viewport of the Dreadnought ultimatum, his four violet eyes narrowing as the blue-green planet rotated slowly beneath them. Earth. Such an unimaginative name for a planet. But then again, what could one expect from a species that still thought digital watches were pretty neat? Commander, Sub-Lieutenant Kryn approached, her exoskeleton clicking against the polished obsidian floor. The High Council is waiting for your report. Let them wait, Zex-Vorn replied, not bothering to turn around. I'm savoring the moment. Kryn's antennae twitched nervously. But Sir, Protocol 7 Alpha clearly states so. Do shut up about protocols, Zex-Vorn waved one of his three arms dismissively. We're about to wipe a sentient species from existence. I think I'm entitled to a dramatic pause. The command deck fell silent, save for the occasional beep from the navigation console. 12 warships of the Galactic Alliance hung in geosynchronous orbit, invisible to Earth's primitive detection systems. 12 ships was overkill, really. The Intelligence Division had estimated that just 2 would be sufficient to subjugate the entire planet. But the High Council insisted on making a statement. They're so fragile, Zex-Vorn mused, watching city lights twinkle across North America as darkness fell. One atmosphere-dependent species on one vulnerable planet. No colony worlds. No planetary defenses. Their most advanced weapons wouldn't even dent our secondary shields. Yes, Commander. Kryn stood at attention, clearly uncomfortable with the casual conversation. The preliminary scans indicate their military capabilities are exactly as intelligence predicted. Shall I commence the countdown? Zex-Vorn sighed dramatically. You really have no appreciation for historical moments, do you, Kryn? In 50 cycles, when younglings ask where you were when we conquered our 1000th world, what will you tell them? That you were in a hurry to press a button? I suppose not, sir. Exactly. Zex-Vorn finally turned, massive frame towering over the insectoid lieutenant. Bring up the tactical display. The holographic projection materialized in the center of the command deck, showing Earth in perfect detail. Red dots indicated major military installations, blue represented population centers, and green highlighted key infrastructure. Their communications are so primitive, Science Officer Doral commented from his station. Radio waves and digital packets sent through cables. We could shut them all down with a single electromagnetic pulse. Where's the fun in that? Zex-Vorn chuckled. Let them communicate. Let them panic. I want them to know what's happening. Weapons Officer Pelcath raised his tentacled appendage. Commander, target acquisition is complete. Shall we deploy the kinetic bombardment first, or go straight to the neutron disseminators? Neither. Zex-Vorn's mandibles clicked in amusement. We'll start with a surgical strike. Their most fortified military compound. This Pentagon, I believe they call it. Yes, Commander. 5 sides. How imaginative, Pelcath remarked dryly. Target locked. Fire when ready. A beam of concentrated energy lanced from the ultimatum, striking the Earth with pinpoint precision. On the tactical display, they watched as the beam penetrated the Pentagon's roof like a hot knife through butter. Direct hit, Kryn announced. Unable to hide her excitement despite her earlier stiffness, Zex-Vorn settled into his command chair, steepling his fingers. Now we wait. For what, sir? Doral asked. For their surrender, of course. Standard procedure. We demonstrate our power, they wet themselves, or whatever their species does when terrified, and then they beg for mercy. And then we obliterate them anyway, Pelcath added with a cruel laugh. Naturally. Zex-Vorn's eyes gleamed. The Alliance doesn't tolerate competition, potential or otherwise. The minutes ticked by in tense silence. The tactical display showed emergency vehicles converging on the Pentagon, but no communications were directed towards space. This is unusual, Kryn noted, checking her instruments. We're not detecting any global alerts. No nuclear arsenal activation. It's as if what? Zex-Vorn snapped, as if they don't know we're here. Zex-Vorn's exoskeleton creaked as he leaned forward. Impossible. We just vaporized a section of their military headquarters. Checking news broadcasts, Doral announced, his tentacles dancing across his console. They're reporting it as an explosion. Some kind of internal accident. What? Zex-Vorn bellowed, causing several bridge officers to flinch. We just fired the most advanced weapon in the galaxy at them. Perhaps we should be more obvious? Kryn suggested cautiously. Zex-Vorn slammed his fist on the armrest. Fine. Target their next, most important military installation. And make it big this time. Yes, Commander. Targeting their naval base in Norfolk, Virginia. This time, the beam that shot from the ultimatum was thick enough to be visible from the ground, a brilliant purple column of destructive energy that struck the heart of the naval base. On the tactical display, they watched as several ships were vaporized instantly. There, Zex-Vorn declared triumphantly. Let's see them explain that away. They waited again, all eyes fixed on the tactical display. Emergency responses mobilized quickly. Impressively quickly, Zex-Vorn had to admit, but still no communications were directed skyward. Sir, Doral's voice sounded confused. They're calling it a meteor strike. A heavy silence fell over the command deck. A meteor, Zex-Vorn repeated flatly. Yes, Commander. Their news networks are reporting that a meteor broke through the atmosphere and struck the base. Zex-Vorn stood slowly, his massive frame trembling with rage. Are you telling me that we've now attacked 2 of their military installations, and they think it's natural phenomena? It appears so, Commander, Kryn confirmed, her antennae drooping in embarrassment. This is unacceptable. Zex-Vorn roared. We are the Galactic Alliance. We have conquered 1,000 worlds. We will not be ignored. Perhaps, Kryn ventured carefully, we should make direct contact. The standard intimidation broadcast. Zex-Vorn paced the command deck, his claws clicking rhythmically. No, that's what they want. They're playing dumb. It's a tactic. A tactic, sir. Palcadluca skeptical. Of course, they're pretending not to notice us, to rob us of our moment of triumph. Even as he said it, Zex-Vorn realized how ridiculous it sounded. Commander, Science Officer Doral interrupted, I'm detecting unusual activity at several locations around the planet. What kind of activity? Zex-Vorn demanded, grateful for the distraction. Energy signatures. Very faint, but growing stronger. They're not matching any known human technology in our database. Zex-Vorn frowned. Show me. The tactical display zoomed in on various locations. A desert in the southwestern United States, a mountain range in China, beneath the Atlantic Ocean, and deep in the Amazon rainforest. At each location, a strange energy reading pulsed. What is that? Kryn whispered. Before anyone could respond, the ship shuddered violently. We're being scanned, Doral exclaimed, his tentacles working frantically across his console. Some kind of deep penetrating scan. It's cutting right through our shields. Impossible. Zex-Vorn snarled. Nothing can penetrate Alliance shields. Another, stronger tremor shook the ship, causing several officers to lose their footing. Sir, Helkath's voice had risen an octave. We're detecting energy builds at those same locations on the surface. They're targeting us. Targeting us? With what? Throw up secondary shields. Evasive maneuvers. But was too late. For beams of brilliant white energy shot up from Earth, converging on the ultimatum with terrifying precision. The ship rocked violently as alarms blared across every deck. Shields at 60%, 40%, 20%. Kryn reported, panic evident in her voice. Sir, this is impossible. Their weapons shouldn't be able to launch countermeasures. Return fire. Return fire. Zex-Vorn bellowed. The ultimatum fired desperately at the surface, but the beams kept coming, relentless and impossibly powerful. Sir, The other ships, they're under attack too. Doral's voice cracked with fear on the tactical display. Zex-Vorn watched in horror as two Alliance warships, the most advanced vessels in the known galaxy, suddenly exploded in silent bursts of light. "This can't be happening," he whispered. Another violent jolt, and suddenly half the command deck went dark. "Commander!" Kryn shouted over the alarms. "We've lost engines, weapons are offline, and life support is failing." Zex-Vorn staggered to the communications console. "Send a distress signal to the fleet. Tell them, sir, 3 more ships just went down. The fleet is in chaos." Through the viewport, Zex-Vorn could see the impossible happening. Alliance warships, each capable of destroying an entire civilization, were being picked off one by beams from the planet's surface. The ship lurched again, and this time emergency containment fields flickered to life as sections of the hull were breached. "How?" Zex-Vorn demanded of no one in particular. "How?" They were primitives. They had nuclear weapons for Void's sake. They still used combustion engines. "Sir," Doral's voice was eerily calm now. "I'm detecting objects approaching from Earth." "What objects?" "Small craft. Hundreds of them, rising through the atmosphere at incredible speed." Zex-Vorn stumbled to the viewport just in time to see them, sleek, black vessels, unlike anything in the intelligence reports, swarming up from Earth like angry insects. "Impossible," he whispered again. It was all wrong. The intelligence was wrong. The first of the black ships reached the crippled ultimatum, attaching itself to the hull like a parasite. Then another, and another. "They're cutting through." Kryn's voice was shrill with terror. "Hull breach on decks 7, 12, and 15. They're boarding us." Zex-Vorn stood frozen, watching as more Alliance warships exploded in the distance. "6 gone. No, 7. 8. Commander, what are your orders?" Kryn was practically screaming now. The ship shuddered one final time, and then the command deck doors slid open. They weren't at all what Zex-Vorn had expected. Bipedal, yes, but not the soft, vulnerable creatures from the intelligence reports. These humans were encased in sleek, black armor that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. Their helmets revealed no faces, just smooth, reflective surfaces that showed Zex-Vorn his own terrified expression. One of them stepped forward, weapon raised. When it spoke, its voice was mechanically filtered but unmistakably amused. "First time encountering humans, Commander." The figure tilted its head. "Don't worry. It's a common mistake." What are you?" Zex-Vorn managed to ask. The human chuckled, the sound chilling even through the filter. "We're what happens when you leave a paranoid species alone for too long." It gestured to the tactical display, where only 2 Alliance ships remained, both crippled and under attack. "You really should have checked what we were building underground." Zex-Vorn's legs gave out, and he collapsed into his command chair. "But our intelligence was exactly what we wanted you to see." The human stepped closer, its armor making no sound despite its apparent weight. "Did you really think we wouldn't notice your probes? Your satellites? We've known about the Alliance for decades." More armored humans poured onto the command deck, securing Kryn, Doral, and the other officers with strange energy restraints. "But the Pentagon, Norfolk," Zex-Vorn stammered. "Oh, those." The lead human laughed. "Thank you for hitting our decoy sites. Very convincing, weren't they? Full of outdated equipment and empty buildings. Perfect bait." "Bait?" Zex-Vorn felt sick. "We needed to know which ships were carrying your command personnel." The human tapped the side of its helmet. "And now we do." On the tactical display, the last Alliance warship disappeared in a flash of light. "The mighty Alliance," the human mused, looking around the command deck. 1,000 conquered worlds, and you couldn't even manage a proper first contact with Earth. It leaned in close to Zex-Vorn. "Guess how many of your ships managed to send distress signals back to your fleet?" Zex-Vorn said nothing, his 4 eyes wide with terror. "None of them." The human straightened up. "As far as your Alliance is concerned, 12 warships simply vanished in an unexplored sector. By the time they figure out what happened and send a proper invasion force, it gestured toward Earth, still turning peacefully below. Well, let's just say we'll be ready. More than ready. Another human approached, reporting in some unintelligible code. The leader nodded. Good news, Commander Zex-Vorn. You're being taken to Earth as our guest. Your knowledge of Alliance protocols will be extremely valuable. And if I refuse to cooperate, Zex-Vorn managed to ask, some small part of his pride still intact. The human's helmet retracted, revealing a face that was both terrifyingly alien and unervingly familiar. The creature smiled, showing flat, white teeth. Commander, it said softly, cooperation is entirely optional. We have ways of getting what we need. The smile widened. Really creative ways. Humans are nothing if not innovative. As they led him from the command deck of his ruined flagship, Zex-Vorn had one overwhelming thought. The Alliance had made a terrible, terrible mistake, Doctor. Amara Chen stared at the alien creature strapped to the examination table, her dark eyes revealing nothing of the excitement churning inside her. Commander Zex-Vorn, as he called himself, glared back with all four of his violet eyes, mandibles clicking in what she presumed was agitation. Are you quite finished gawking? The alien asked, his translated voice dripping with disdain. Or is this primitive form of intimidation supposed to break my spirit? Amara smiled thinly. Commander, if we wanted to break your spirit, you wouldn't still have the capacity for sarcasm. She circled the table slowly, making notes on her tablet. The underground facility, officially designated Deep Mountain Complex, but known to its staff as the Burrow, hummed with activity around them. Through the reinforced glass walls, teams of scientists and military personnel moved purposefully, examining pieces of Alliance technology salvaged from the captured warships. You know, Amara continued casually, when we first detected your surveillance drones 15 years ago, there was quite the debate about how to respond. 15 years. Zex-Vorn's voice cracked slightly. Impossible. We only began reconnaissance of this sector 8 cycles ago. 8 of your cycles, yes. Roughly 15 Earth years. Amara tapped something on her tablet, and a holographic display appeared above them, showing the trajectory of a small object entering Earth's atmosphere. This was your first probe. It was quite sophisticated for about 6 months. Then our technology caught up, and we were able to detect it. After that, well, she smiled again. Let's just say we made sure it saw exactly what we wanted it to see. You're lying, Zex-Vorn hissed. Human technology is primitive. Combustion engines, fossil fuels, nuclear fission. Amara laughed, the sound echoing off the sterile walls. Oh, that's adorable. You really believed all that. She put down her tablet and leaned close to the alien commander. Here's a free lesson in human psychology, Commander. We're paranoid as hell. The moment we confirmed we weren't alone in the universe, every major government on Earth redirected significant resources toward a singular goal: survival. The door hissed open, and General Marcus Rivera strode in, his weathered face set in its perpetual scowl. Behind him followed Dr. Quan Park, the head of xenobiology, and Captain Nadia Volkov, who had led the team that captured Zex-Vorn. Dr. Chen Rivera nodded curtly. How's our guest doing? Charming as ever, General. Amara straightened up, just giving him a little history lesson. Rivera approached the table, studying the alien with cold, calculating eyes. Has he provided any useful intelligence yet? Not voluntarily, Amara replied. But his physiology is telling us plenty. I will tell you nothing. Zex-Vorn spat, straining against his restraints. The Alliance will come for me. They will rain fire upon your pathetic world. Captain Volkov stepped forward, her helmet retracting to reveal a face framed by close-cropped red hair. The same way you did. She smirked. That worked out spectacularly for you, didn't it? Zex-Vorn fell silent, his mandibles clicking rapidly. How long until the Alliance realizes they've lost contact? Rivera asked, Addressing the alien directly, Zex-Vorn stared defiantly back, saying nothing. Based on the communication protocols we've decoded, Dr. Park interjected, consulting his own tablet. They operate on a check-in system. The fleet was supposed to report success within one standard cycle of arrival. And how long is that in Earth time? Rivera asked. Approximately 72 hours, Park replied, which means we have about. He checked his watch. 51 hours left before they start wondering what happened. Rivera nadie. Then we work with what we have. Dr. Chen, what have you learned from the ships? Amara swiped through several screens on her tablet. Their technology is impressive, but not incomprehensible. The propulsion system uses principles similar to our theoretical models for gravity manipulation. Their weapons are essentially just highly focused energy beams, conceptually not that different from our own directed energy platforms, just more refined. The real question, Park added, is why they thought we'd be so easy to conquer. Their intelligence on us was catastrophically wrong. All eyes turned to Zex-Vorn. You might as well tell us, Amara said softly. It won't change your situation, but it might satisfy your scientific curiosity. Surely you want to know where your intelligence division went so wrong. For a long moment, Zex-Vorn remained silent. Then, finally, his mandibles stilled. The Alliance has conquered 1,000 worlds, he began, his voice quieter now. Most species follow predictable development patterns. We monitor them from a distance until they reach a certain technological threshold. Then we eliminate them before they can become a threat. And what's that threshold? Captain Volkov asked. Typically, the development of faster-than-light communication or travel. Zex-Vorn's violet eyes narrowed. Once a species can spread beyond their home system, they become problematic. And you thought we weren't there yet, Rivera concluded. All evidence suggested you weren't. Zex-Vorn's voice rose in frustration. Your broadcasts, your visible infrastructure, your energy signatures, all consistent with a pre-FTL civilization. Amara exchanged glances with her colleagues. That's because we went underground. Literally. After the first probe, Park explained, we created the Subterranean Technology Initiative. All advanced research facilities were moved underground or underwater to shield their energy signatures. We maintained a surface-level technology that matched expectations for our development stage. While beneath, we built what we needed to survive, Rivera finished. That Zex-Vorn's eyes widened slightly. The energy signatures we detected just before the attack, our defense grid coming online, Volkov nodded. 127 facilities worldwide, all networked together. But how did you develop so quickly? Zex-Vorn seemed genuinely bewildered. Most species take centuries to progress from nuclear fission to energy weapons capable of penetrating Alliance shields. Dr. Park smiled thinly. We're very motivated by existential threats, Commander. Nothing accelerates human innovation like the fear of extinction. When we had help, Amara added. Help? Zex-Vorn's head snapped toward her. From whom? The Alliance controls this entire sector. Controls. Rivera checked darkly. Or thinks it controls. You'd be surprised how many of your, what did you call them, conquered worlds have been quietly communicating with us. The alien commander looked as though he'd been struck. Impossible. Is it? Amara raised an eyebrow. The Alliance's arrogance is its blind spot, Commander. You conquer a world, establish a token presence, and assume compliance. But subjugated species have long memories and incredible patience. The Arcturians were particularly helpful, Park noted. Their understanding of quantum mechanics is frankly astonishing. The Arcturians are extinct. Zex-Vorn hissed. We eliminated them 300 cycles ago. You eliminated their military capability, Volkov corrected. The survivors scattered. Some found their way here, seeking allies against a common enemy. Through the glass walls, they could see technicians wheeling in a large piece of Alliance technology. An NAV computer, Amara recognized. Already, human scientists were swarming over it, integrating it with Earth equipment, learning, adapting. You've made a grave error, Zex-Vorn said quietly. When the Alliance learns what happened, they will send not 12 ships, but 12,000. We're counting on it, Rivera replied, his face grim. That's why we left no survivors from your fleet. Well, except you, Amara added with a small smile. Me? Zex-Vorn looked confused. What use am I if you already have my ships and technology? Oh, Commander, Amara's smile widened. You're the most valuable piece of all. You're going to help us send a message. Before Zex-Vorn could respond, another human rushed into the room, a young officer whose name Amara couldn't immediately recall. General Rivera, he exclaimed, breathless. We've done it. The translation matrix is complete. We can now fully decode all Alliance communications. Rivera's perpetual scowl lifted slightly. Show me. The officer activated a wall display. Symbols Amara recognized as Alliance standard script scrolled across the screen, instantly transforming into Earth languages. This changes our timeline, Rivera said, turning to the others. If we can intercept and understand their communications, we can respond as the fleet, Park finished, excitement evident in his voice. We can buy ourselves time. Or better yet, Volkov added, we can feed them misinformation. Make them think Earth is even more primitive than they believed. Lower their guard for when they do come in force. Rivera nodded approvingly. Throughout this exchange, Amara watched Zex-Vorn carefully. The alien commander had gone very still, his four eyes fixed on the translated Alliance script on the wall display. She could almost see the realization dawning on him, the understanding of just how thoroughly his mission had failed. You never had a chance, she said softly, leaning close again. Not because we're stronger or smarter, but because you underestimated us. The Alliance saw what it expected to see, a vulnerable, isolated species ripe for conquest. Were you? Zex-Vorn whispered, his arrogance finally cracking. Survivors, Amara replied simply. It's what humans do best. Rivera cleared his throat. Dr. Chun, prepare the commander for transport to Facility Omega. Captain Volkov, I want a full report on the potential military applications of the capture technology. Dr. Park, work with the translation team to craft a response to any Alliance inquiries. As the others filed out, Amara began preparing a sedative. Zex-Vorn watched her movements with a new wariness. What happens now, he asked. Now, Amara filled a syringe with a clear liquid. Now we prepare. Your Alliance has been conquering worlds for what, 10,000 years? We have a lot of catching up to do. You can't possibly think you can stand against the full might of the Alliance. Amara paused, the syringe held carefully between her fingers. Commander, let me tell you something about humans. Throughout our history, we've faced extinction-level threats. Ice ages, plagues, world wars, climate catastrophes. Each time, we've survived not because we're the strongest or the most advanced, but because we're adaptive. She stepped closer, holding the syringe up to the light. And now, thanks to you, we have Alliance technology to adapt. Your weapons, your shields, your FTL drives, all of it now in human hands. And we learned fast, Commander. Really fast. You're insane, Zex-Vorn whispered. One primitive world against 1,000 conquered systems. Ah, but we won't be fighting alone. Amara smiled as she administered the sedative. Remember those subjugated species I mentioned? The ones you thought were safely under Alliance control? They've been waiting for a chance, a catalyst to rise up. Zex-Vorn's eyes began to droop as the sedative took effect. And you, Commander, Amara continued, her voice the last thing he would hear before unconsciousness claimed him. You just gave them that catalyst. The mighty Alliance fleet, destroyed by a species they thought was primitive. Imagine how that news will spread among your conquered worlds. As Zex-Vorn slipped into unconsciousness, Amara made her final notes and prepared him for transport. Outside the examination room, the burrow continued to hum with activity. humanity preparing for the greatest challenge in its history. 6 months later, Zex-Vorn stood beside Amara on the observation deck of the ESS Retribution, formerly the Alliance warship Ultimatum, now recommissioned as the flagship of Earth's first interstellar fleet. Below them, Earth glowed blue and green against the blackness of space, seeming both vulnerable and precious. "Your ship is almost unrecognizable," Zex-Vorn noted, his voice lacking its former arrogance. The past months had changed him, as they had changed everything. "We made some improvements," Amara replied. The Ultimatum's original weapon systems had been augmented with human innovations, less elegant perhaps, but devastatingly effective, as simulations had shown. "The Alliance fleet will be here soon," Zex-Vorn said quietly. Your deception bought time, but they will have realized by now that something is wrong. We're counting on it." Amara turned to face the alien who had, improbably, become something like an ally. Not out of any love for humans, but out of a growing realization that the alliance he had served so loyally was built on lies and subjugation. "You really think your coalition will hold?" Zex-Vorn asked skeptically. 23 different species, many of whom have been enemies for generations? "They have a common enemy," Amara shrugged. "It's amazing how motivating that can be." On the display screens around them, ships appeared from hyperspace. Vessels of bizarre and beautiful designs, representing the formerly conquered worlds that had joined Earth's hastily assembled resistance. The Arcturians with their crystalline ships that seemed to phase in and out of reality. The insectoid Vrel in their hive vessels. The gaseous nor contained in ships of living metal. "The Alliance has never faced a unified opposition," Zex-Vorn observed. "Their strategy has always been to isolate and conquer." "Well," Amara smiled grimly, "they're about to face something new." General Rivera's voice came over the comm system. "All vessels, this is General Rivera. Long-range sensors indicate Alliance signatures approaching. Battle stations." Amara looked out at the assembled fleet, an impossible alliance of species brought together by humanity's stubborn refusal to be conquered. "You know," she said to Zex-Vorn, "there's an old human saying, 'The enemy of my enemy is my friend.'" "An oversimplification," Zex-Vorn replied, "but not without wisdom." Around them, the Retribution hummed with power as its hybrid human alliance systems came fully online. Crew members, human, Arcturian, Vrel, and others, moved with practiced efficiency to their battle stations. "It's not too late for you to reconsider," Amara said, studying the alien commander. "You could still request asylum on one of the neutral worlds. No one would blame you." Zex-Vorn's mandibles clicked in what Amara had come to recognize as a laugh. "And miss the Alliance's expression when they see who's leading the Resistance fleet? No, Dr. Chun, I believe I'll stay." The sensors blared as the first Alliance ships began dropping out of hyperspace. Not 12 this time, but hundreds, their massive forms casting shadows even at this distance. "So it begins," Zex-Vorn murmured. "No," Amara corrected him, her eyes fixed on the approaching armada. "So it ends." As battle stations sounded throughout the fleet, Amara couldn't help but reflect on the irony. The Alliance had thought humans were weak, isolated, primitive. Their first strike was meant to be a simple conquest, one more world to add to their collection. Instead, it had sparked a revolution that would spread across the galaxy. Their first strike had indeed been their last. The last time they would ever underestimate humanity, and the last time the conquered worlds would ever cower in silence. The Retribution moved into formation with its unlikely allies. Amara felt something she hadn't expected. Hope. Not certainty of victory. The coming battle would be desperate and brutal, but hope that whatever emerged from the chaos would be better than what had come before. Beside her, Zex-Vorn straightened to his full height, his four eyes fixed on the approaching Alliance ships, his former masters, now his enemies. "Ready weapons." Rivera's voice commanded over the comm. Amara exchanged one final glance with Zex-Vorn, then turned her attention to the battle displays. Around Earth, the combined fleet of formerly subjugated species took up defensive positions, a ragtag armada united by a single, powerful idea: no more conquests, no more subjugation. Today, the Alliance would learn that some worlds refuse to fall. Today, they would learn that their greatest mistake hadn't been attacking Earth. It had been allowing humans to survive that attack. Because humans, as the Alliance was about to discover, didn't just fight to win. They fought to ensure they would never have to fight the same enemy twice.